practices in, I believe. Just talk about your position group, what you've seen from those guys. I mean, anybody maybe standing out, just kind of how the first couple of weeks of spring ball's gone for you.
Well, the biggest thing, Matt, the guys to me have made the biggest improvement really with the terminology. It was a little new, as it always is when you have a new coordinator. At the end of the day, they were a little sluggish with it the first week, which was to be expected. I think and believe strongly that since then, I think they've really done a good job. They have picking it up. They're starting to play a little bit faster. We're able to put a little bit more stuff in for them to learn from. So it's been really good. I like where they're at. However, we always still have a long way to go.
Hey, Coach, Tom Bruce, Sports Illustrated, Indiana. Good to see you. Question though, too, in regards to that same thing. It's a new system for coaches as well. Can you talk a little bit about how the interaction has been amongst your group and how you guys are all sort of picking up and getting to know everybody a little bit better?
So at the end of the day, here's what happens when you're a new coach in the system. Regardless of when you're there, you just got to really hone in, find all the details. People oftentimes in football think, well, it's just coaching football, but everybody calls stuff different. That's part of the learning curve. That's what we expect our players to do. And I believe as coaches, once we are more comfortable in the system, we will teach it better and we'll teach it faster, and they'll come along with that. And I think that, at least for myself now, I've been here a little over a month, and I certainly believe I'm more comfortable with the system. So therefore, I believe I can teach it better.
All right, Dustin. Jim. Hey, Coach. Obviously, we get to talk to Sean and Josh today. The transfers, obviously, they've played at pretty big programs. What have you liked about each of them so far? I mean, obviously, I know you've only had so much time to evaluate, but what do you like about them just from a physical standpoint, and how are each of them sort of bringing their experiences from the previous schools, and how are they picking up on what you're doing so far?
Well, they've been a really good job of being out in front in our group, and they are playing like guys with experience that have been through the ropes, so to speak. And I think they're doing a really good job of leadership in my group. They're when they get their opportunities, they're making a lot of good plays. Josh has really done a really good job all around. And I believe in pass pro, he's been tremendous. And Sean has really, also done a good job in pass pro, and he's broke off some good runs. Obviously, you look for that from the leadership. I know the players, which is a good thing, ask them a lot of questions, and that's good because they want to rely on the leadership that they bring. And I love the answers that they give because they sound like a coach when they're answering the questions, which is good. And so there's been a lot of good things that they have. And as we keep on going, I'm sure we'll continue to find out all the good things that they have. And we're going to continue to work on the things that they need to work on, as every player has got something to work on. And that'll help us a lot.
Hey, Coach. I hope we get a skiing exposition from Sammy here in a minute. Welcome in as Jim Coyle with Indiana Sports Beat. First time I've gotten to speak with you. All this newness, new offensive coordinator, new language, new players, new coaches, but this is an offense that is in need of life quickly. I know it's early on, but from your standpoint, what can you interject and what do you see already that can be interjected into this offense to make it a productive one next fall?
Well, I think I don't, regardless of what place I've ever been, I think the answer to that in general is the first thing you want to do is make sure you protect the quarterback and protect the football. And if you do that, that's going to give you tremendous opportunities to be successful. Obviously, situational football, third down, the scoring area or the red zone, 2 minute, 4 minute, some of those situations that we are planning on working on or we are starting to work on, that's what makes a big difference. And to be explosive, what I have always believed in is you're going to have some plays in your offense that you're going to try to stretch the field. But oftentimes, it's the ordinary play that is executed extraordinarily well. Those are the plays that you've had a couple explosions on, and we've had a couple of those already in the practices so far. So sometimes you don't so much look for explosive plays. You execute well, and explosive plays happen, and that's kind of what's happened to us a couple of times. But as far as offense from the back's perspective, number one, protect the quarterback. Number two, protect the ball. Number three, win situational football. And if you're doing that, then the carries and the catches and everything that you do, I think, will come into play.
All right, Keegan and Sammy. Hey, Coach. Keegan Nickerson with the Hoosier.com. You said that Tom Allen's energy and passion for his guys is one of the big reasons that was one of the big things that drew you to Indiana football. So being up close and seeing it up close and personal and working directly with him, what has that experience kind of been like?
Unbelievable. It's every day you go out and coach brings it every day, and he pushes players, he challenges players, he gets the best out of the player, and I think that's what really good coaches do. And it's fun to be around that. It's fun to be around a guy that's got a lot of high energy, and I think that the players feed off of that here. I don't think there's any doubt. When I was coaching, the 1 year I had coached against him from a couple years ago, and I was just an analyst, I was, as I had said before, and I'll say it again, that I was amazed at the way he just commanded the sidelines at Indiana, and it's fun and enjoyable and refreshing to see something like that all the time. So he has been everything I'd hope he'd be since I've been here, and hope the coaches, as we continue to go, are going to try to get in lockstep with him and bring that energy and coach the details and put our guys in the best position to win. That's what we're supposed to do.
Good morning, Coach. I just wanted to ask about Jalen Lucas. He's a dynamic running back, can play all over the field. What are your first impressions of him?
He's dynamic. Exactly what you said. He can change speeds. He certainly is very quick. He can put his foot in the ground and go north and south. He's got good talent. He can catch the ball. He's done a really good job of catching the ball so far. There's a lot of things that you can get excited about Jalen. I think he shows some pop and some flash, that's for sure. As with a lot of young players, you don't want to just build on the flash. You want to make sure you're consistent, and that's something that we're going to continue to work on with him and every other young player that we have. But I would definitely say that he's made some plays, and I'm excited about where he's at. And you just, for the younger guys, you just got to really get onto the details and get through the highs and lows. And what I mean by that is if you come off and have an explosive play, that's great. But as I tell them all, you have a great play or a play you don't like, regardless, that play's life is over, and you got to move on to the next one. And that's what a lot of young guys do, and that's what I really, really try to emphasize for all my young players, that don't get hung up too much on the last play and move forward to the next play. And so he's been able to do that pretty good, but I got to continue to remind him and all the other young players about that.
Coach, obviously we asked about the new guys, the transfers, and obviously Jalen. What's impressed you about the guys that have come back? Obviously David Hall and Trent Howland were young guys last year, freshmen, but also Charlie Staples, a guy who's been around for a while. Just what's impressed you about each of those guys? How are they just sort of picking up what you guys are doing as far as just obviously changing what they're used to?
Sure. I'll talk about David Holloman first. He's done a good job. I like what David's brought so far. He's got a good change of direction, very good low center of gravity. He can accelerate through the holes. So like a lot of young players, he's got some spark. With a lot of young players, you got to continue to be consistent. That's what we're looking for from him. I would say for Trent has done a good job. He's a bigger back, and I told them all, I've been around all types of backs, big guys, small guys, doesn't matter. He's a bigger back. He's obviously a physical back. He's done a good job of catching the ball out of the backfield. He's done a good job of staying on his lane and making decisions, and I've kind of liked I've liked a lot what I've seen from Trent, and he's working hard at it. And him and David and Chuck, as I call him, or Charlie Spiegel, have all done a good job. Now, when I ask them questions, they can give me positive answer replies instead of answering a question in a questionable way. And that's what you find out from the young players. Charlie has done a really good job. He's a load. I mean, he brings it. He's very consistent. Brings a great football attitude, and he's had some really nice plays mixed in there too. So all three of those guys have some things that they've really shown, and all three of those guys as young players have some things they need to work on. Again, as all young players do, have the game slow down so they can actually play fast, and that's what I'm trying to teach them.